Boss, most I can do is drop this washer off to you.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I said the most I can do is drop this washer off to you.
No, you're not going to drop no frickin' washer off to me.
Look, man.
You can take it back to your company, and I'll tell them you refuse to take out the old one and bring in the new one. How would that suit your ass?
That's better.
Okay?
Look at this place, man. You don't see the car outside cleaner than the house?
You guys came with a bad attitude in the first
Look at the
place.
car. Look at the car. The car cleaner than the house, man. You need to clean the house.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz, news and entertainment with a buzz. The video that you just saw is of a Jamaican went to do a drop-off and installation of some washer. However, when he went, the sight that he saw of this man's place was in a very deplorable state, meaning that it's dirty and nasty. That man decided that he was not going to drop off or install that washer because the place was in a very despicable state. Now, people, before I say what I have to say, I want you in the comment section to tell me, what would you do if you was working for a company and you went to deliver and install a washer and saw the place like that? Would you tell the customer that you're not going to do your job because the place needs to be fixed up? Do you think that it is that employee's place to tell the man to fix up in place? Comment in the comment section. Now I am going to tell you what I feel about the whole situation. I feel as if the company that hired this man will probably reprimand him. I feel as if this man will probably even get fired. And I am going to explain why I say so. If and when you as a customer goes to a place and you purchase a washer, dryer, stove, it is not a part of the contract that the place has to be clean. Yes, you would like work in a clean environment to avoid germs. However, your company, like most companies in America, is going to put customer first. Even when they are wrong, they are right. So I say this to say that your job is to go and install that machine. Then you come out, you make the man sign, and you go about your business. Your job is not to determine whether that place looks appropriate enough for that machine that man or that person bought. You should not take it upon yourself. What you should do is call the company that you work for and explain and ask them, what should you do? More than likely, they are going to tell you, just blind your eye, shut your ears, and install it because we don't take the man money. We are not going to return the money. We are not going to get any sorts of bad feedback from that man. So therefore, do what you have to do. Do not take it personal. And again, this is my opinion. It is not the gospel. Your opinion can be different from mine. I am just going by customer service in America, first world country, versus Jamaica. Point blank and period.
I dey on the toll and then catch me with 5.8 million in my car and lock me up. What me do? Am I money? Me not do nothing. God know you. Police catch me with so much money and lock me up. Me can't manage my thing and so I'm not for work with so much money and something, brother.
Supposed to read back on this year.
Brother, man, tell us me get back up, brother. Fuck, brother. I'm just say I handcuff me now, watch it. You see, brother. Police, so me can't walk with too much money, man, so lock me up and something. I know. This time, yo. Them a say me a scammer or something. Eh? Where? Yeah, man. Yeah, man, miss. Me a 20. Miss officer. Free me up. It's my money. Police are 5.8. You have to come with me.
The person in the video that I just showed you is a young man known as Pops YG, popular TikToker. Pops YG is somebody that I've spoken about on a couple of occasions. I made it very clear that it's either the cops is going to get him or the ops is going to get him. Well, he has been arrested by the cops on a couple of occasions for being hype, for having all sorts of money, for doing all sorts of buffoonery. As it pertains to the ops, that is yet to be determined. His latest thing is that he was arrested by the police on the highway for having 5.8 million Jamaican dollars. Now, when I do the calculation, it is about 37 to 38, 36,000 US dollar, depending on the rate in which you get a whole bunch of money. Here is the rules and law as it pertains to traveling or doing any sort of transaction with money. If it is more than 1 million Jamaican dollar, I think 7-point-something thousand US dollars, then you have to get some sorts of clearance. So therefore, this youth has at least 5.8 times the amount that is allowed under the law. Even in America, you can't have more than $10,000. You have to declare it also to the IRS. So therefore, he would be breaking the law in Jamaica and breaking the law in America. The thing is this, we understand that these are TikTokers and we understand that they are making money. However, the maths is not quite adding up. The maths is more like mad maths than odd maths. So this youth is here hyping, celebrating, taking it for a joke, saying that he was held with 5-point-something million Jamaican and the money belongs to him and the police needs to free him up. People, like me say, for the hype, these people will do just about anything. Can I verify that Pops actually had 5.8 million Jamaican dollars? No. So maybe Pops had more than the average person pulling off in a Mercedes-Benz. The police know them, the way that they drive, they just stick out like a sore thumb. So it was only going to be a recipe for disaster because they like to exalt themselves. So the police more than likely know the car, know the character, he fits that stereotype. So him get a pullover. When him get pulled over, the police find the cash. So the moral of the story is this. These youth, it seems as if because of the hype, it seems like them say he that exalted himself shall be abased. Even when their lives or their safety or their freedom is in jeopardy for doing something wrong, they're always going to want the spotlight and the highlight for all the wrong reasons. They're always going to do the wrong thing until the wrong thing really do them, meaning that the big yard or the graveyard, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, there's a saying that goes something like this. Every day that the bucket goes to the well, one day the bottom is going to drop out. Karma has no expiration date. Both appropriately applies as it pertains to Squash. Everybody knows that Squash was arrested a couple of weeks ago for a couple of gun charges. He was given $3,000 bail. It is also said, confirmed now, that there's an immigration hold for him. The fact that he's in the country illegally. The fact that he had applied for asylum. The fact that he tried to do the paperwork, however, because he kept putting his foot in his mouth, getting himself in trouble. He now finds himself in the predicament in which he is in. So the details of the arrest is now out. Based on information, it is said that Squash found himself in the middle of an FBI investigation. Apparently, the FBI was investigating an individual for selling illegal chip Glock. That is when you turn a semi-automatic into fully automatic. Based on the police report, it is said that the FBI was watching that person when Squash went on the scene, where that person was and the police, FBI under surveillance, saw him pick up a chip Glock and put that chip Glock in a holster in his waist. The record also indicated at first that he was pulled over for a traffic violation. He was the passenger, there was a driver, a 24-year-old man. However, that is not the fact. It seems as if when the police, FBI was investigating, they saw him pick up that tool, they saw him left in the vehicle, and they called the police. The police intercepted the vehicle. They pulled over the vehicle. According to the police, when they walked up to the vehicle, they saw Mr. Squash take out something out of his waist and put in the glove box. When they checked that gun, that chip Glock, illegal, they realized that there was one in the head. Even if you have a concealed weapon, you have to first select one at the head and then you can use it to defend your life, stand your ground. So he had that tool. He had the holster was empty. The gun fits appropriately in that holster. The driver of that vehicle that did not have any sort of driver's license, he was also arrested for a tool. Don't hear anything about the sawed-off shotgun. However, the facts are these. He walked into a present FBI investigation. Now, people, when me listen to this, I have to say to myself, was the person that was under investigation by the FBI did some sort of reverse sting and call up Squash name and say, I know a little man with on social media we want in Jamaica. If you want him, since you're pressuring me, I want to turn you guys on to him. Our Squash was just coincidentally walked up into an investigation. I am going to explain how it can work in both ways. If that person that was under investigation by the FBI bring up Squash in a mix-up, then Squash is pretty much doomed. If it goes the other way, in which Squash just pull up on the scene coincidentally while the investigation was going on, Squash is going to be given the opportunity to help himself. One thing that I know about America, living there for the longest time, is that the FBI, the police, they like a snitch. They like a key witness. Squash being the type of person that knows that his status is under jeopardy right now, knows that if he goes back to Jamaica, he will have to face the judge, knows that the ops is waiting and the cops is waiting, he would do anything like them say. Desperate times calls for desperate measure. So I say this to say that if Squash is given the opportunity, which I know that he will probably even offer to the feds and say, Una want a key witness. Una want me give details of how I came to come on this premises and bought that gun. They will always jump on that. But like I said, if it is the man that was under investigation was giving up Squash and not Squash given the opportunity to give up that man, then it can go the polar opposite way. Squash don't want to see Jamaica anytime soon. So therefore, you know, all of these gangsters that always tell you, say, listen, informer for dead. Well, people, the truth and the fact is that scientific survey and evidence, they are the biggest snitches in the history of mankind. So I say this to say that Will Squash sees that opportunity to help himself to stay in the United States and not face the music in Jamaica. That is yet to be determined, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, there's a saying that goes something like this. If it is not inflation, high prices, pothole, it is going to be accident or gunshot that is going to be responsible for most Jamaicans losing their life. I hope that that is exaggerated. However, in this case, it appropriately applies. According to Dr. Delroy Frey, clinical psychologist in the hospital in the Montego Bay region, he said, scientific, there's a sharp decline in persons that are turning up at the hospital for gunshot wounds versus a very sharp incline for persons that are getting injured or losing their life due to accidents on the roads of Jamaica. I want you to take a listen, take a look at exactly what the good old doctor had to say, and then I'm going to give my piece.
The number of motor vehicle accidents we saw during that period was 226, but 24 and 37 gunshot wounds present to our Corn Regional Hospital. The same period, 2025, January and February, the number of motor vehicle accidents was 287, but gunshot wound went down to 10. So there's a 27 difference between these 2 months, and that's, one might argue that's a small sample, but in a hospital situation, if we are getting 27 less gunshot wound in 2 months, that's a plus for us. Motor vehicle accident is burning hospital resources, and these can be avoided if we are just being careful on the road. And not only accidents, I didn't quantify the number of lives that were lost. I mean, there are data out there for those 2 months as well, so that is significant.
Now, people, when we listen to what the doctor has to say, 27 less pie up between January and February, 10% decline. However, when it comes to accidents, more than 20-something% in just 2 short months. The facts are these: Jamaica, about 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 average annually for persons that lose their life. 85% to 90% is at the hands of the gun. When it comes to accidental deaths, at least 400 to 500 on an annual basis for maybe the last decade or so. So when you combine these two, accidents and shooting, it is a very deadly combination. It is responsible for hundreds, thousands of persons losing their life, because if you add 14 to 1,500 as it pertains to gunshot, and then the next 400 to 500 as it pertains to accident, we're talking about thousands of persons, 2,000 on an annual basis. And a lot of these could have been avoided had persons make better head prevail, better decision, keep out a gang, keep out a criminal activity, keep out of confrontation with the police. As it pertains to the road, said is the case as it pertains to the madness and the mayhem, mad bats out of hell syndrome, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.